And what is good, everybody? It's your Captain Blackbeard Slim along with some friends here, and welcome to hopefully one of the first of many roundtables. And the topic today is Street Fighter 6. But before we get started, you're probably wondering who's this handsome guy and all these other handsome guys and why are they together? But anyway, I'm Blackbeard Slim, aka Sean, trucker, content creator, investor, captain of the High Score Pirates, where we aim to beat our own high score. And also host of the High Score Haven podcast, which you're happen to be watching right now. So before we get started, some quick announcements. One, this is a live taping, so we probably won't be answering the chat as much. Maybe like in between segments, we'll see what's happening in the chat, but we probably won't be as attentive as to keep these guys' time respected and all that kind of stuff. Number two, still trying to find my soundboard, and I found it. Here we go. So there we go. Had to get my soundboard. But anyway, so if you want to support the stream, best way to do that is just hang out with us, do what you're doing right now, and also follow. And also got each of these guys' handles, so you can follow each of them in various social medias. And like I said, if you want to support the stream, do what you're doing right now. The usual Twitch stuff applies, bits, subs, all that good stuff. And you can also get some merch like this wonderful Potemkin shirt I have here. Don't know if y'all can see it. It says "Busted" on it. And you can either pay with time or you can pay with money. So if you want to pay with money, here is the link to that. And if you want to pay with time, it only costs 50,000 channel points. I may lower it to possibly 25 or 30 later. But enough of all that. We got some special guests in the house, man. So first of all, we got to the top left, the head of the Gamers Consortium from the East Coast, Mr. PokerJackGamble.
What's up, everybody?
All right, and from the West Coast, head of the West Coast Rumble Tournament Series, a very new tournament series out of the West Coast area. I played in this gentleman's tournaments a couple times. Done really well the first time and got absolutely smoked the second time. We got NonFactorFGC.
Be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, and we got a chat favorite on the bottom left. This gentleman I actually had the pleasure of running into in Tekken 7, where he triple perfected me with freaking Ling Jiayu, and I've come to find out that his mains tend to be Chinese girls and grapplers. But this guy's he's always supporting the stream, always sending bids. We chat off stream a lot, and it's probably become one of my best friends that I haven't met yet. We got Mr. Al Nimbus. All right, and last but not least, we have the only person on this panel that I have met in person. We got one of the homies from the Charlotte FGC, another tournament organizer in the area. Does a lot more with stream now, has a thriving community, the Winter Lodge, and I was really shocked I was able to get him on this platform with us. We got last but not least, WinterSoul.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for having me here, Blackbeard Slim. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So you guys can see me and everything and hear one last check. If not,
yes. Yep. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Okay. Perfect.
Good stuff. Hey, how y'all liking the layout? Pretty cool?
Clean.
It's looking clean, man. I like it.
Thank you.
It looks good.
I appreciate that. And we got
Vintage.
And we got First Hokage in the chat. Okay, that's what's up. Oh, congrats on winning Street Fighter 6 yesterday at last level. So glad to see you here in the chat. Appreciate that. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with some of these questiones. So basically, I'm going to ask a question. You guys give a response. If y'all can converse around it and all that. And of course, I'll answer it at the end as well. So the first question, as it pertains to Street Fighter 6, who is your main and why? And we'll start PokerJackGamble and we'll go clockwise for this one.
All right, so I started playing Street Fighter religiously in Street Fighter 5, and my main was Ibuki. So I looked for strictly the fastest character, the character who had all the what I now know as the Bushin Ryu style of moves. So I had to go straight for Kimberly. She's strictly my main now. And if I feel like it's not doing the thing in a match, I'll switch over to Dulcim to really annoy my opponent. Really polarizing character classes there.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, man. Like we were talking before the stream, I'm like, Kimberly and Dawson, how the hell does that work?
You go really, really fast, and when it's not working, or if it's working too well, you go really, really slow, and the opponent just can't keep up. It's amazing. It's awesome to keep your opponent off kilter.
Yeah, I stick to kind of one side. Like I have Kimberly and Ken, so they're basically the same character. Ken's a little bit slower, a little more powerful, but that's how that works.
That's absolutely true.
All right, so non-factor, who's your main and why?
I was saying before the podcast started, I am not a Blanca main. I am the Blanca main. For the video viewers, showing off my Blanca tattoo that I just got about like a month ago or so. I've been playing Street Fighter at least like daily since 2010. I'm like kind of an 09er. And I started out with Ryu as like most people do, fundamental character. And from playing online, I just started running into these Blancas. And I'm just like, I cannot beat this freaking character. I'm going to go to the lab. I'm going to see what's going on. And I was like, damn, I don't have to play neutral. This is kind of cool. And like ever since then, I've been like, when Blanca's there, I've been playing nothing but Blanca. When 5 first came out, I played Mika just because I like to play, trolley characters and things like that. But Blanca's my dude. And as far as his story, I mean, he's a hustler as far as it goes right now. He's trying to get his brand off, off the ground. And he loves his mama. He's just like me.
Okay. So you see, got some personal connections there with Blanca. I like it. That's pretty deep going to the lore. And Blanca's always been a problem, even since Street Fighter 2, man. So that's...
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that you finally that you discovered them, and I hate you for playing them. So
I get that a lot.
Yeah, you're still the homie though. WinterSoul, what about you, my man?
So I think I'll only just go back to as far as like Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 4 was like so long ago. I originally started out playing Rashid, and of course he's coming on like July 24th. But back in Street Fighter 4, I did give like Abel a try. And I don't know, I'm always kind of like attracted to when Capcom brings in like new main characters. It's always good to try to see like how they're gonna approach like their play style. I know they tried something with like Alex before, and he's missing in action currently. I hope he comes back. Rip Alex, man. So I was like, okay, well, Rashid's not going to be in the base roster for Street Fighter 6, so let me give Luke a try. And I think he was, for me, a bit easier to play in this one as opposed to his Street Fighter 5 incarnation with the timing of his like perfect flash knuckles. And I don't know, I really like his buttons. I really like his projectile. He actually allows me to fight Guile on like a semi-even playing field and deal with his projectiles, because I just could not fight that character in the game. Like even with Rashid, as good as he was, I just had this like mental like thing every time I saw Guile on the screen. I couldn't deal with it. He was too good, and he's still really good. But at least I can play the Fireball War now without worrying about V trigger being a thing.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say with Guile, man. He again. Another character has always been a problem, and I didn't realize how effective Luke was at dealing with Guile. I think you said something last night on our stream, like in the chat, and yeah, but that Sandblast, like
yes, EX Sandblast goes at like 88 miles an hour. I love it. And going back to what you said about Blanca about skipping the neutral, that's pretty much why I'm playing Manon. I don't have to. I don't have to play neutral. Once you get a taste of it, it's so good. You can't go back. And that's pretty much why I play her. No character attachment to her. I just like her moves. I like how she plays, and I like that she's she's kind of cheap. So get to rob everybody every now and then.
Nothing wrong with that.
Feels good.
Highway robbery does feel good.
All right, so that's awesome too. Like some people pick characters for like emotional connections, like Non-Factor identified himself a little bit in Blanca, but WinterSoul, he said, you know what, I'm going for mechanics and functions. Like, what can this character do? It's kind of like when you meet like a girl or something like that. Like you meet a girl, you talk about her personality, how cute she is, and all that. But when the girl introducing you to her friends, what do they want to know? What does that fool do? Shout out to Chris Rock. And finally, Al Nimbus, man. Let's talk about your mains.
Okay. So for Street Fighter 6, my main is Zangief. Because he's the most honest. Okay. Yeah, I pick him because that mostly stems from because I watched the anime High Score Girl, and she played Eve. I always play Shotos when I first started in Super Turbo, but something about that 360 input, I always wanted to learn how to do the 720, and that's the reason why I play Geef is to learn the 720.
And how? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So many first attempts I've lost to you learning that 720. Good God. Freaking Geef, man. And then Hugo too, and
Hugo.
that is what's up. Freaking
big
Geef,
bodies.
man. And this
But
is
Manon's nice though.
Manon. I thought I was gonna like Manon because long leg, some tricky stuff. This is a lane. This is a lane all over again. I'm gonna like her. No,
she's really, really fun. She's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I just need to give her another shot now that
I approve.
now that I know how Street Fighter 6 works. I'll probably give her a shot. Oh, because she gets nerfed, yeah. Unfortunately, my character already got nerfed before the game came out. So, of course, as some of y'all already know, I'm a Kimberly main. And fun fact, when the game first came out and they announced Kimberly, I was actually not feeling her at all. I thought, wow, they really just took my key and made her black. Interesting. Did not like that concept at all. It's like, at least come up with a new character because Capcom had always been good at coming up with original, black women characters. Elena, you had Minot in Street Fighter V. So I thought at first they were kind of taking the easy way out. And then I finally got Kim in my hands. Pause. And she is a lot of fun. Like, even with the Bushin Ryu style, so she kind of has those final fight elements. Mm-hmm. And so she's a lot easier to pick up than people think. I kind of like to think of her as like a faster version of Luke. A faster, more fun version of Luke. Luke seems a little boring to me. And originally I picked Jamie just because, the breakdance and stuff. Again, I saw a lot of Elena in him. But I got washed in NonFactorFGC's tournament. I got packed up expeditiously 0-2. And I had to go back in the lab just to try some stuff out, thinking maybe Jamie's not my character after all. So, I got in the lab with Kimberly, and the rest is history. And of course, you got to have a pocket Shoto, so Ken it is.
There you go. Good choice.
Yeah, he plays up very similar to Kim too. Like he has a sprint that he can break and kind of do some option selects out of. So I like it, man. So speaking of Street Fighter 6 and the game itself, I didn't write this question down, but it just came to me as we were talking. So Street Fighter 6, gets announced, and Lil Wayne does his little his show or whatever about it. Let's even go back. First reaction to Street Fighter 6. What are we thinking? How do we feel about it?
Are we talking about the teaser with Luke and Ryu, or like the World Tour trailer, like when they first showed off like World Tour and
we'll take it piece by piece. The game itself with Luke and Ryu, you see the game in action. How do we feel?
Shoot, I was just like, man, finally, like Street Fighter V was not for me at all. It just did not speak to me the way 4 did. So as soon as a new Street Fighter was on horizon, I'm just like, thank God I can finally get back into this game, because I was playing Guilty Gear and whatever game to try to scratch that itch. You know what I mean?
I was in the same boat. I was playing a lot of Guilty Gear. That was my main game, and I wanted to get off it. The second the demo came out, I was playing Luke and Ryu matches nonstop. The demo replaced my main game, my main fighting game. So when it actually dropped, I was like, this is the best fighting game release that I've ever experienced personally.
Yeah.
There's 3 games, and inside one of these games, there's arcade games I can play with people, and other games, and it's just a full release. No downloads, no bullshit. This is everything that I've needed in a fighting game, and everyone's playing it all at once.
Yeah, Capcom finally got their head out of their proverbial asses. I'm not gonna lie. The quality of life changes, the amount of content, it's everything that Street Fighter V lacked. This game finally has. So it's just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I'm liking Street Fighter 6. I like the fact that they gave Zangief a jackhammer. Like they gave him that. They actually gave him like real wrestling moves. So it blew my expectations out of the water. This is the most fun fighting game that I played in a long time. In a long time.
And on day one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, day one.
Day
No, the
one.
game worked, which I was surprised about because how many AAA titles do we see come out day one and you can't even play the game for 72 hours because the servers don't work?
Street Fighter 5, we're looking at you.
Exactly. Man, I remember when the Street Fighter 5 beta came out, over like the 3 days it was out, I played like 1.5 matches.
Yeah,
I just kept getting that same error.
Yeah, it's been an interesting trend this year with games coming out complete as full experiences. You know, look at Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm not a Zelda fan, but I've heard good things, and it looks complete. Also, Street Fighter 6, I'm pretty sure Spider-Man 2 is going to be the same way when it comes out. Final Fantasy 16, you know, all that good stuff. So, gamers are eating right now, and I love it here. Gamers are definitely eating right now. I guess my first reactions, I was like, you know what? I'll see when it comes out. Like, I really didn't have an emotional pull either way. But when the Lil Wayne showcase came on and they kind of talked about a little bit more about how World Tour was going to work, I was sold. I was like, I have to get this game now. Capcom finally learned their freaking lesson.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when that first World Tour trailer, I'm like, when the trailer starts, I'm just going to see some like gameplay, 2 characters fighting. And when it went to like the over-the-shoulder open world, I had that moment of like, what the hell even is this game right now?
Yeah, World Tour is pretty fun. I was happy when I got Chun-Li's number. I was like, oh, I got her number. That was really cool.
No, it's a good building block for Street Fighter in the future. Capcom cannot leave this feature out going forward, so they're only going to build upon it. And it's going to get deeper and more engaging because even the avatar fights in the Battle Hub is some of the goofiest nonsense that's like so much fun I've ever seen.
It's so much lore and everything into it as well. It's the good stuff. Like they got. I don't know if y'all saw the podcast I did. I think it was High Score Haven number 3 where I talked about the Judgment Girls. They put a couple of them. Yeah. They put a couple of them in the game as like fighters that you can fight in World Tour mode. I was like, they really put Fair Libra in.
That's pretty sick.
Spoilers.
No.
That's pretty sick.
That's awesome.
We see a resurgence of beat 'em ups now that the World Tour is out. It's kind of like a glorified beat 'em up, right?
Ironically enough, thank Streets of Rage for that.
Oh, I love Streets of Rage 4, man. That game was everything I hoped for.
Yeah. Like, again, well, you know, we're here to talk about Street Fighter 6. We'll go on. We'll do a whole show on Streets of Rage. It is impact. But let's go ahead and reel this thing back in. So, speaking of, I think we kind of answered this with this last conversation, but favorite new feature of the game? And we'll start with Al Nimbus and work counterclockwise.
I think my favorite feature of the game, I really like the drive impact. Something when you counter it, and then when you see your opponent do it, and then you catch them, and then you know that 720 is coming. You know it's coming right after you get it. But the drive impact, I think it's very, very hard because when they make Street Fighter games, they always have a new mechanic, and it's very hard to originality is very hard to come by now these days. But that drive impact, so fun, so satisfying. That's what I love about this game. It's fun.
All right, WinterSoul, you up next, my friend?
Dang, he took it out of my mouth. I was also gonna say drive impact, just because. Well, I have actually another one, but yeah, I personally also love drive impact. But the other one, the biggest one for me is burnout. I actually think burnout's a crazy mechanic. It really makes you think twice a lot of the times, especially if you're going in, you get your damage output at the beginning of the round. It's like, okay, now you're burned out. But it makes it so that if your opponent even gets one advantage on you, they can just either push you to the corner or walk all over you. And but you can also still fight back, if you know the block strings and everything. It creates another level of mental stack that comes into play.
It's one more thing to think about. Fast.
Yeah, it's one more thing to think about on top of all of the other mechanics. Drive parry, drive impact, as Al Nimbus mentioned, drive reversal. There's just so much that can happen in burnout, and it really puts your life at risk, especially against certain characters that have really safe pressure strings. I really like it though. It's it's very interesting to see the scenarios that can happen when people are put there, and it's interesting to see how there are different ways to get people into it. There's level 3s, there's level 1s, level 2s, or just hitting people while they're in block stun. It's very cool. It's very cool. It's different and original.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely not a mechanic in any of the fighting game that I can think of like the drive gauge. So Capcom definitely pulled a rabbit out of their hat with that one. But Non-Factor, what's yours? Your favorite new feature in 6?
Just to piggyback off of that, man, the drive gauge, it almost becomes like as vital as like your health gauge. You know what I mean? Which is insane to think about. The mental stack, you know what I mean? Giving people the full amount of meter to spend as they please from the beginning of the round, it makes it feel like there's so much creativity you can have. Like people are gonna have different disciplines on how they spend their meter. I know like there's certain players like Daigo in his live streams was talking about you spend it as quick as you can. And then there's certain players here in North America like, no, you need to hold on to that because you don't know what kind of situation you're gonna get in. So it kind of creates this mini game inside of just already playing Street Fighter, which I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I play this game for like 2 or 3 hours straight, like I feel mentally exhausted. There's so many things you have to worry about, and then you have to worry about whatever character you're playing against nonsense. You know what I mean? So if you're playing like a character like Blanco with his Blanca Chan on top of all the other mechanics, it just becomes the ultimate mind game. And like everyone was saying, it's just so original, and I can't even think of anything that's come close to it.
All right, PokerJackGamble, your turn, sir.
So I am in love with the Battle Hub as a whole. I love the social aspect of the Battle Hub, and I think since I started playing fighting games, that's what I've been looking for, that arcade experience. I'm like, I missed out on as a kid, kind of like wasn't out of that perfect age to be in the arcade. So I'm like, being able to be in a game and see people playing, seeing who the big winners are, and networking with them, an actual functional chat that we could use, and immersing us into that arcade experience is the coolest fucking thing a fighting game company has fucking done. It's bringing back the networking, the atmosphere. I feel like it's definitely detoxifying the game because we're able to speak to our players. We're able to learn and meet with these people in game, and that's my favorite feature by far. And right on the side of it, being able to play the old school games, I love it.
That's so sick.
I love it. I love high score keeping. I love seeing my name. I love battling against the entire world's high scores. I think it's fantastic, and I think anything that brings back that arcade feel is completely thumbs up for me.
Yeah,
so it's like Capcom's library is all kind of just like built into like one like part of the game, and it makes it feel really, really special.
They have so many licenses. Why not use them?
Exactly.
I do
so
not
many
want
I've
that
never
to be
even
the end
heard
of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the end. I hope over the course of the years or whatever, they just keep adding and chucking people into their games, allowing us to play with each other, whatever the case.
Yeah, one thing you were saying about the Battle Hub, I was very surprised about, especially because you know how things get online, people get toxic, but the amount of positivity you see in Battle Hub chats about just whether it's just GGs or sharing tech or hey, like this is how you punish this was so surprising to me. It really feels like it's an online local. Like there's really actual community in every Battle Hub you go to.
Amazing. I can't wait for the tournaments to start when there's people just crowding around for just sign up for tournaments in there. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's also like fun just to laugh at the salty people in there. Everyone gets a good chuckle.
That's true too.
It's like, you mad, bro?
Being able to challenge people with streaks, going to different servers to challenge people.
Find the streak, the setup with the streak on it.
Oh, you got a 10-win streak? It'd be ashamed if someone broke it.
Real shame.
I'd be all in there like with the evil laugh there. But so everything you guys said about the drive gauge, I second that. I definitely love it. And the fact that you get all your tools up front. There's no more choosing your super, choosing the V trigger, choosing your ism, your groove, all this crap that you had to choose.
It's like behind the feature.
Yeah, Capcom is like, look, here are all your tools, go. But I actually agree with PokerJackGamble. My all-time favorite feature is the Battle Hub. It came out way better than I thought because it really does feel like it feels like you're walking into any local, any casuals for a day. It feels like you're walking in a contender. or something
They
like
got you
that.
prepared to meet all the kind of crazy people you're going to see. The skins, the actors.
You see the weird One Piece looking characters. I'm like, wow. Like, I think I roast somebody every stream, roast somebody's character every stream. Like, honestly, you could probably run a whole stream just roasting people's characters. Now, you know,
one of the sickest.
We might do that one day.
One of the sickest things is when you like walk into a battle hub and then you see a top player. Like I was randomly walking around a North American battle hub and freaking Knuckle Dew is like in the middle of a set. I'm like, oh, I get to play against Knuckle Dew. I'm a queue up, you know what I mean, to play him.
That is, yeah.
It makes
That is,
people
like, the coolest
accessible.
thing.
I agree. And also, too, one thing I'm surprised you haven't mentioned, the Avatar battle, which is a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, too. I thought, people were just going to be broken, and it was just going to be one kind of meta set running things, almost like Mario Kart, which that probably is the case. But from what I have played, with my Ryu base and then a couple of Kim's moves in there, like I said, it will, 30 minutes would go by, and I would have played like a whole set. So it's lit.
I was surprised with the quality of the Avatar battles as well. I didn't think I'd put any time into it. The second they said that's how you unlock skins, I was like in there, but then enjoying myself, and I had sunk 10 hours by like that.
I think it's insane how some characters that are in there, some people have their avatars are like they're like stacked. Like they have like 3 or 4 health bars, like you're fighting a final boss from Final Fantasy VII. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah, but that's the challenge. That's the fun of it. Is like, how good are you really? And also,
it's supposed to be fun, dumb fun. So I'm all for it.
And speaking of dumb fun, World Tour is like it's a nice, fun, simple RPG to play. Yeah, like it's not Final Fantasy 16, but it works. So next topic up for bid. What's a character you would have liked to see that didn't make it? And we'll go counterclockwise, starting from poker. We'll go clockwise, starting from PokerJackGamble.
So clearly I feel like Ibuki, but also I feel like all of her move sets are kind of represented with Kimberly. But so I was very upset not having my main initially, right? Mm-hmm. And now after having some time with the game, I feel like the characters they did give us are all such bangers and so interesting in their own right that I'm not really all that let down or soured. I can see the moves of certain characters being represented in others. And honestly, I'm not disappointed. I think the game's a fucking banger, and I'm excited for whatever characters they do give us.
Okay, so what's up? Yeah, Ibuki kind of giving that fast ninja style, even though it's two different. I just realized there are two totally different styles of ninja in Street Fighter. You have, I think Ibuki kind of represents. Who's the one ninja in Street Fighter 1? One of y'all know it.
Geki, yeah.
Yeah, so Ibuki kind of feels like an extension of him, while of course Kim is obviously a student under Guy from Final Fight fame.
Right.
And I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of glad and disappointed at the same time that they didn't just make a Final Fight 4 trying to capitalize off the Streets of Rage fame and just put her in Street Fighter and kind of gave it a beat 'em up mode.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, so non-factor. Who would you have liked to see here?
The two, because I'm a sucker for boxers when they're in fighting games. Dudley and Balrog, man, I needed them. I cannot wait till whenever they come. The way they changed Balrog in Street Fighter 5 and gave him a spin to go through fireballs and everything, I can't wait to see how that gets built upon.
Yeah, I just realized there aren't any boxers, like no boxers, not even a new character. I mean, you got Marissa that uses all fists, so I guess that's kind of a boxer. Which, if she was a boxer, that could have worked.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, WinterSoul, who would you like to see?
For me, it's interesting, right? Like, there's no, well, like you said, I thought that was strange that there was no boxer. It's like the first time in a while that hasn't been like on the default for Street Fighter. Of course, like that might change when we get Ed, but we'll see how he turns out. But there's no third strike representatives at all in the game so far, and they're not even like barely hardly mentioned in World Tour from what I've played. Like there's one NPC that I met that mentions the Rindokan dojo that like Makoto's from. I was like, oh, well, that's neat. But then there's like no mention of like anything else, unless I'm wrong. I haven't played it, like I haven't 100% of the game and talked to every NPC. But I would like to see at least a third strike character. And I think the other thing for me is I would really be okay with seeing anybody, because the way that they've fleshed out all of the characters, like even the ones that never seemed particularly interesting for a long time, like Ryu, for example. Ryu's the most, it's like basic as basic can come. Mm-hmm. And then what did they? They gave him Hashogeki, they gave him the Denjin charge that he can just utilize and enhances all of his moves and opens up his combo routes like in a crazy way. So like, yeah, like throw 12 in there, throw 12 and like and flesh them out. Throw in Necro. Give us Sean back.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I'm down with seeing like any character that they choose to throw into this game, and I want to see how they make them work with how many tools that are offered to them.
Yeah, I'm in line with WinterSoul there. Like, it's a huge disappointment that more third strike characters were not, especially since this is the most chronologically.
Yes.
This is the most recent chronologically, and yet third strike was the last one recent chronologically, and yeah. So Bright Lines in the chat wants to ask a very lame question. Ask it, and we may address it at the end. Just we'll keep it. We'll put it to the side and maybe have time for it at the end. But Al Nimbus, what about you? Character you would have liked to see?
Okay. You know who I want to see come back? There's actually a few of them. This is from Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Oh wow!
The PSP.
I want to see Ingrid come back.
Ingrid, okay.
You whipped out the manual.
That's a deep cut.
I want to see that. I want to see Ruby Hart come back. We haven't seen her since Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I would want to see her come back.
That'd be a cool character.
I want to see Tiffany from Rival Schools.
Ooh, deep cuts.
Bro, I want either John Talbane.
Oh my god. Little Red.
Give us somebody. But I want Ruby Hart to come back for sure. We haven't seen her for a long time, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, she would have been in Darkstalkers 4, but that was scrap. But Ruby Hart for sure, and Ingrid.
Yeah. What's funny is I actually had another topic in mind for a podcast. Like if we were to make either Marvel vs. Capcom 4 or just do an all Capcom fighting game, because I think that could work too in the style of Marvel vs. Capcom, but just do all Capcom characters.
Absolutely.
So that might be another roundtable. We'll see how this one goes, which is going pretty well so far. But
oh, he's got the action figures.
Yeah, Al Nimbus is a collector, bro. Like, and he's actually taught me a couple things about like flipping things on eBay and stuff like that. So yeah, y'all should connect, and y'all are on the same side of the country too.
Yeah, for sure.
I fit the follow. Don't forget to smash the follow.
Yeah, please don't. Oh yeah, if you're on YouTube watching the playback, please like the video. If you like what you see watching the live tape on Twitch, consider giving each of us a follow. We all play Street Fighter 6. We all play other fighting games as well. So another little surprise question, just a real quick lightning round question. What other games are you playing, if any? Because Street Fighter 6 is monopolizing, our time. But once Street Fighter 6 hype goes down, what are you gonna go back to playing? Al Nimbus, we'll start with you.
I'm an old school guy, so I still play Vampire Savior. I play that a lot. Love playing Super Turbo, and then probably waiting for Tekken 8. To drop. So those are the ones.
All right, WinterSoul?
Me? Were you talking about games that we're playing, fighting games that we're playing right now?
Anything. Once you're done with Street Fighter 6, or if you need a break from it, what are you playing?
Oh, no, I'm just gonna be playing Street Fighter 6. But no.
R.I.P. to the backlog.
On a serious note, when it comes to fighting games, I really want to play Tekken 8. I want to give it a chance, especially if the game has rollback netcode. I mean, that's the make it or break it thing for me. A lot of the reason I couldn't get into Tekken 7 was because of the network instability and the inconsistencies with it sometimes. And I didn't have a PC at the time, so I was playing on like the base PS4, which already had like its fair share of problems.
Sweat Station 4.
Yeah.
Right,
that was a struggle. And now I have a PC now, but Street Fighter 6 is out, and it's new, it's hot, it's actually a good fighting game and a good video game altogether, like being like a full package deal. So I think, yeah, Tekken 8 for sure. After the beta test, hopefully, there's some positivity. And looking forward to trying out Grand Blue with the new update. I want to see how that goes because I did want to give that game a chance, but then the pandemic happened. Project L, when that comes out.
The League of Legends fighting game.
Yeah,
right?
the League of Legends fighting game. Yeah, I want to give that a shot. But in terms of just other random games, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16, and then waiting for Spider-Man 2, bring my boy Venom back.
Right. So a non-factor, what are we playing besides Street Fighter 6?
I'm only 28, so I'm a younger guy with an older soul, so I love perusing like those weirder fighters that are on Fightcade, like Matra Melee. I'll play Breaker's Revenge a lot and things like that.
Breaker's Revenge.
And besides that, I'm just playing chess. I'm a little chess.com troll.
Okay. And PokerJackGamble, what are you playing outside of 6?
I'm grinding in Diablo, trying to get to the hardcore mode, and if I ever get tilted from that, I'm playing the arcades behind me. I'm just old school fighting games, whatever.
Oh, I see you got the cabinets behind you. That's dope.
Yeah, I'm always working on a new cabinet idea, or just trying to get some high scores on my own.
That's what's up.
Just grinding.
Yeah, as for me, I was kind of really on a tear with learning Third Strike, so I'll probably go back to getting good at Third Strike because that game will never die, and I really think Street Fighter 6 is going to have that same future. But I've been making an effort to get more into single player stuff this year. So I did buy Final Fantasy 16, so I play that whenever I'm tired of throwing Hadoukens. But Spider-Man 2 is out. I also play. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm pretty nice at Mario Kart as well. So I play that whenever I just want to break from the fighting games and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm kind of grinding outside of 6. So we talked about characters we'd like to see. And this will probably be a pretty short question as well, but what's a feature in 6 that you would have liked to see? And PokerJackGamble, we'll start with you and work clockwise.
Shit, it's so feature complete. Like, I was already gushing at it being a full release. Like, you gave me arcade games inside of an arcade game. What can you? How can I ask for more? You gave me rollback netcode. You gave me character select before the matches are in. You gave me rank that makes me feel good. I can't say a damn thing. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's cool if the answer is nothing. This game is perfect. All right,
I feel it. I feel it right now.
Yeah, non-factor. What about you?
Just to throw it out there, I'm sure like when it comes down to like a game design thing, it might break it, but if there was some kind of like, side gimmicky tag mode, that would be sick as hell with these mechanics and everything. I know originally when the game first got shown off, people thought like, oh my god, is this 2v2? Because they had the two characters standing next to each other. I was like, oh my god. So if they had some kind of fun 2v2 mode, it would be pretty sick.
All right, WinterSoul, what about you?
Oh man, yeah, I have to go with PokerJackGamble. I honestly can't think of anything like offhand. Like, I guess a lot of it would just be like a little bit extra, but nothing like substantial. But I will say the one thing that I will like to see, like I know they're gonna add like characters into World Tour over time and like incorporate them into the whole story. But I want to see if they're gonna do any like big expansions for like World Tour, like any like story expansions, like they do something like beyond, the final battle with JP or whoever the heck that you fight at the end. I'm still playing it. So, yeah, I just want to see them, like, open up more, like, maybe other areas that you can, like, fully explore, like Metro City and Nashal. Maybe have, like, a rival schools area where you're, going through the entire area and you're fighting, like, all the characters from rival schools.
All the DLC is there.
Yeah. Or maybe even something with Darkstalkers, where like the Darkstalkers characters are like popping up in like random parts of the world, and you like go around and fight them. Like I don't know,
Halloween event.
Yeah. Like there's the possibilities are kind of like endless with that mode. Like they can really get creative with it, and I hope that they do because they've got something really, really special there.
All right, so what about you, Al Nimbus? What's a feature you would have liked to see that's not there?
I really can't think of too many things other than expanding the World Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I want more costumes. I want a Macho Man Randy Savage costume.
Yeah,
that's what I want. But other than that, expand the world, more costumes. I want to see the alpha, Chun-Li's alpha outfit on there. Like, I want to see some cool stuff like that.
I ain't gonna lie. That's the one thing Street Fighter V did right. They gave us so many options for costumes and all that kind of stuff. They treated us with that. As for me, so this is actually gonna come out of left field. I want a survival mode, very similar to. Has anyone here played Accent Core Plus R Guilty Gear? Nobody, or even like there's the survival mode in Street Fighter V.
Yep.
Where it functions almost like a roguelike. So you put that in there, plus incorporate some of the extreme battle functions, and I think that could really be a really fun single player mode. For when the servers are down or something like that, but you still want to have some fun, or. Yeah, maybe you could, as a content creators, we could, create challenges around that and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's why I like to see personally.
Have some leaderboards on there.
Yeah,
see who only made it to like stage 2.
Yeah, turn the difficulty up all the way up to 10 and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Good luck, sir. All right, and so. Now we're going to go into a little bit of technical stuff here. So, and this kind of goes in line with Brightline's question, which we'll still answer his question individually at the end if we have time. But how do people beat your character? So we'll start with Al Nimbus and we'll turn it counterclockwise.
If you want to beat Geef, his normals are terrible. And I think this is one of the most Achilles heels of grapplers is like if you get a sweep on them, neutral jump. Because it's very, very hard to read, especially when you're a grappler. And then if you decide to wake up super, that's like the only invincible reversal he has. But it's such a huge gamble if you guess it wrong. Or you could get the mix up and then also use your cross ups because Zangief's anti-air is really good, but it's not always consistent, especially when you're doing a crossover. So. And of course, don't get in the corner. That's easier said than done, but try not to get in the corner. But that's usually the game plan for you.
All right, so WinterSoul, how do we deal with this diamond Luke that you got? Help us out, bro.
Well, it really comes down to paying attention to what the Luke is doing during the match. If you see him throwing out a lot of sandblasts, jump. Jump in on him. You get a really big reward if you jump in on Luke. Luke's love to burn their meter. So whenever they get burned out, make sure you keep the pressure on and make sure they don't get that, make sure they don't get their drive meter back for free. Another thing is, as terms of my Luke, I really like throwing out moves in the neutral, especially heavies. A lot of Luke's punches, especially, have him move forward. And a lot of the times, if he's not pressing a button behind that, he can't really do much. He either has to block or try to throw something else. So if you have a good read on it, try to drive impact it because especially if it's a heavy, he won't recover from it as fast. So I'd say try jumping if he's throwing sandblast. Try drive impacting if he's throwing out a button. Other than that, just stay on your toes. Watch your legs because his crouching medium kick is pretty insane.
Watch your feet, merchant stores.
Yeah, definitely watch your toes because he will clip you. You'll get hit by that medium kick at the maximum rage, and you'll be like, "What?" That's even happened to me before fighting Luke Mirrors, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I forgot."
He has the goofiest sweep of all time. By the time you realize it's a sweep, you're on your ass.
Yeah. And just keep an eye out for the target combos too. Yeah. There's a certain string that he likes to do after target combos where he likes to either do EX Sandblast or a heavy Flash Knuckle. So if you see the heavy Flash Knuckle coming, that's another thing you can drive impacts. It'll be very unsafe. Clean punish. Get that out of here. And for Manon, just keep her out and pray.
No, get away.
Yeah, just keep her out as much as possible. But if you can knock her down, that's also good because she has almost zero wake up options or defensive options other than wake up super. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just keep her away. If you can knock her down, great. Pressure and Oki her to death, and smooth sailing.
Good
As
stuff.
long as you don't get
That's all
command
need.
grab.
There you go. Especially with that level 5 metal. Oh my god.
Oh,
That does
yeah.
more than most supers.
You know, it's scary. Like if they gave her a DP, it's over.
Oh god. The nightmare.
That's not right.
Thanks for the
Don't give my
nightmare
views.
fuel, Nimbus. All right, non-factor FGC. How do we give us a sauce on Blanca? How do we beat Blanca, man?
I ain't telling y'all. No,
No, I was gonna respect.
no.
Okay, cool. Real respect.
The one thing I always tell people when you play against Blanca, because a lot of people get caught up with like heavy Blanca ball. How do I beat it on block? It's safe, this and that. I always tell them to treat it like he's a bad dog and you have like a little like piece of newspaper, like just back off. If you force me to play honest neutral with Blanca, his buttons are some of the worst in the game. So as long as you stay in my face and you force me to try to go footsies with you, it's an easy sweep for whatever character you're using. So the one thing with Blanca is just don't give him too much space to start the shenanigans. Because even if you're staying away from me and you're blocking heavy Blanca ball, I'm like, oh, cool. You want to stay away from me. I'm going to throw a Blanca Chan down. I'm going to EX electricity, and now you're going to go cross-sided and guess.
All right, and
The other thing is,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing is too is make sure you hit meaty buttons on him, because if you allow me to jump back, air Blanca ball on EX is one of the cheapest things in this game. You saw Mena RD use it as CEO. I mean, almost every one of his matches with Blanca. So definitely use your meaties on Blanca.
Fair enough. And PokerJackGamble, what about how do we deal with Kim and Dalsim?
Well, definitely with Dalsim. I'll speak on Dalsim since he seems to be the lowest pick character. If you're in his face, you're going to win. It's really hard to be in your face as Dalsim and getting all the moves off properly. He's much more effective at zoning you out. A lot of people don't like to punch a fist coming at you, but if you DP the fist, it's going to hurt Dalsim, and I think people need to use that a little bit more. Yeah. But ideally, just stay in their face. Don't give him room to breathe. I know it's stressful to go against a Dalsim, and the initial thing is, oh, he's giving me room to breathe. I can breathe. No, he's getting you zoned the fuck out, and you're about to lose. Stay in his face, and you're gonna win. That's it.
Fair enough. And as a Kim main, I'll tell you this: one thing about Kim is that her goal is to make you scared to press buttons. So on the flip side, you need to make her scared to press buttons. Like kind of like what WinterSoul was saying about Manon. Like Kim has 0 wake up options because they took that away from us in the beta. Still pissed about that. But anyway, yeah, if you knock Kimberly down, the only thing she can do is level 1 or level 3 super at worst. And even then, you just got to watch the meter. So ultimately, Kim is a snowball character. Don't let her get comfortable. If you have a Kim standing still, you won.
Yeah, and Kimberly's very hard to stop, especially with Geef. When you do that, where she runs up, and she does the grab.
Yeah,
that grab is hard to do. It's so hard to guess on that because that Larry doesn't stop that. It's hard to stop that. Like it's crazy good, crazy.
Oh, and I'll tell you this as well. You could pretty much whenever she does kind of like the not even the sprint, but when she does the skip and she does like the jump over you, a lot of characters can jab her out of that. Like I found it out the hard way a few times against like really good players.
Oh, too many people know that now. I'm just getting jabbed out of every single one now.
It's like crap. What can I do now? And now I'm standing still, and now I lose. All right, so we got just a couple more questions. We're almost finished here, and I said we're gonna keep it right about an hour. So hey, working out. So a pro tip for anyone that wants to try this game, or just a pro tip in general. You know, that you have just about anything. So we're trying to think. We started at PokerJack, so we'll go, I think PokerJack, and then we'll go clockwise. We'll do that.
My pro tip is you are never playing to win. The goal is never to win. If your goal is to win when you pick up fighting games, you're gonna have a bad time. If your goal is to win, you shouldn't do it. Your goal should always to be have fun matches, learn something, and get better. If that's your goal, you can go through 20 losses and still harvest like that dopamine hit from learning something. So that's really it. Don't play for wins. You're never going to have a great win rate, strictly speaking. Generally speaking, you're never going to achieve it. Just play to have fun, play to learn, play to grow, and meet some dope people.
Yeah. Not unless you're a pro or something like that. Like if you're Justin Wong and you have a losing ratio, there's something wrong there. But non-factor pro tip about the game, or just any pro tip you want to drop.
One thing I always tell people when they first get into it is to pretty much like leave your ego at the door when you start playing. Like, it's so easy for people to blame the game or, oh, this character's cheap, this and that. There's an answer to everything. If the character was truly that cheap and unbeatable, I would have won Evo 7 years in a row. You know what I mean? I come from a background of martial arts. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. So I kind of use that to translate when I like tell people about fighting games, where I'm like, don't get overwhelmed at what you don't know. Be excited about what you don't know, because that means that you have more to learn.
Yeah, and that's something even yesterday at the tournament. I was playing with a couple of guys that played Kim, and I got some sauce, and kind of with that same mindset. At first, I was a little mad, like, damn, why don't I know this? But then I was like, I get to learn this now. I get to go home. I have the system, too. I can go home, lab it out, and be ready for the next tournament. So, WinterSoul, what about you? Pro tip in general or pro tip specific to Street Fighter 6?
Well, for me, I guess I would have had a pro tip, like a very different pro tip years ago when I was like a competitor. But now I'm more so like I still compete, but at a very casually. Like, I'm not going out trying to make Evo top 8 or anything. I'm just playing fighting games to have fun. And I think that's probably one of the most important things when picking up a fighting game, is to do that. Like, as PokerJackGamble said, go in, and I think it's important to just have fun with the game first. Like, don't go in just wanting to win. Go in seeing like what you can learn. Have an open mind, be humble, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to be, interacting with. So yeah, I wouldn't have gotten to half the fighting games I play today if I wasn't just trying to have fun first. And I think that's really, 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 really key. And it can really carry you a long way, especially if you're having fun with the game. If you put that first, put that as a priority, because once you're having fun, everything else will fall into place. The learning, the tech, and learning to appreciate everything else that the community has to offer, like your locals and your content creators and everything else all around it. It all comes into one nice little package. So yeah, I think it's important to always have fun with them first.
Nice. And Al Nimbus, what's your pro tip for anything in general or Street Fighter 6 in particular?
I would say if you're gonna play fighting games, doesn't matter what the game is, pick a character that you like, not because the opinions of others. If people hate on grapplers, people hate on Shotos, people hate on zoners, just pick that character because you love that character. Yeah. And then figure out, don't overload your brain with combos, because that's the reason why I play Geef, because I can't remember every single fighting game, every single combo. It's hard to remember everything, but stick to what works for you. And then once you kind of start learning the fundamentals of your character and you want to get better, watch high-level players that play your character. So if you play Geef, watch Snake Eyes. If you play Manon, watch Idom. They'll teach you, they'll show you different things that you probably don't even know about your character. And then there's little things like that. And then also realize that your character that you might pick and you might get good, there's also going to be very bad matchups for your character too. And sometimes it's just almost impossible to win. If I play Geef and I see JP, it's going to be a long night, or it's going to be a very short night. So just learn the game, love your character, pick your character. If you feel like you have to switch because you might, it's okay to drop a character. It's fine. And then pick one you love, and then watch top players, and then start learning.
So I'll give a different kind of pro tip, which I will say this with any fighting game, but with Street Fighter this applies especially. Go into Street Fighter 6 with a clean slate. Like, forget everything you know about 5. Some people play 4. Nope, this ain't 4. Even my Third Strike boys, this is not Third Strike. So you got to come in with a different mindset. This game got different mechanics. This game has different characters. So you got to come in with a clean slate, which is both good news and bad news. Bad news is, yeah, you're going to have to kind of rewire your brain to certain things. Like, trying to play Third Strike after 6, like I constantly want to drive rush everything, but I was like, no, you can't do that in Third Strike. Or even when I was first playing 6, I wanted to parry just by pressing forward. It was like, no, that's not how it works. But Street Fighter, every Street Fighter is a completely different game. Like you could call it something different, like with the different character selection and different mechanics, and you'd never know. Like look at every mainline Street Fighter. All of them completely different feel, completely different, just everything. All right, so I think Brightline had a question up here. I'm gonna scroll back up and let's see what we got here. How do you best utilize Cammy's hooligan the best? Anybody with some Cammy knowledge here?
I put Cammy in the lab a little bit to help my friend out. 'Cause my friend is he's playing Ken, but he's also trying to learn Cammy on the side. And I was trying to figure out how her hooligans worked. I think the best way to utilize the hooligans is to tie them in with her block strings or her like when you're pressuring your opponent even if you're hitting them on block or on block or on hit, throw in the hooligans to try to throw your opponent off balance. Because what it'll basically happen is they're either going to like sit there and block or they sit there and try to anti-air, and they're either going to get counter hit or they're going to have to hold that. So you could use it that way or try to use it if you have like a really good fireball read. You can like see the startup of somebody doing like a Hadoken and you do like a really far like hooligan attack. But I think it's best to try to use it like when you're up close to try to mix up your opponent and keep them guessing. But that's just from what I've seen people use it for. I'm not the Cammy connoisseur. I haven't played Cammy since Street Fighter 4.
Oh,
so it's been a really long time.
Cammy might be a backup character for later on. I'm liking some stuff with her, but I'm so invested in Kimberly and Ken right now, getting them to master. Cammy will probably be a fun project character that I just surprise y'all with at a tournament or something.
All right, well, time to start laughing, Cammy.
Yeah, right now. and again, emphasis on May, because I'm, again, having too much fun with my other two, or I may pick Jamie back up again, so we'll see. But it's good. It's good that I understand Jamie enough to, okay, I know he can do that. Okay, I better not press a button because he can do that. All right, so guys, we're about to go ahead and wrap it up. I said we keep it at about an hour, and sure enough, we got through all the questions, so definitely shout out. I definitely want to do this again, you know, whether it's with different panelists or different topics, but this worked out way better than I thought it would. It came out really smooth, so again, thank you guys for your time, your insights, and your participation, all that stuff, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, man.
No problem. And before we head out, each of you tell us where people can find you and what you're working on next. We'll start with Al Nimbus and work counterclockwise.
You can follow me, Albal Nimbus, on on Instagram. It should say that on the stream handle. Not really working on anything else, just working on some more collectibles and trying to flip more stuff. I'm waiting for my Chun-Li comic books to come in, so that's about it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, WinterSoul, you're always doing something. So where can people find you, and what are you working on next?
So you can find me at WinterSoul YK on pretty much everything, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a TikTok now that I'm working on. I know I always said I'd never make one, but it exists now. So yeah, I have that. And then of course I stream on Twitch like pretty much 5 days a week. If I'm not playing a single player game, I'm usually hosting a tournament at my local at Contender Esports. It's this place. QCC, Queen City Clash. I'm also going to be upstarting my online tournament series really soon. And that's going to be more information will be out about that next week. But yeah, that's where you can mostly find me, is where I'm active.
All right, NonFactorFGC, where can people find you and what are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at NonFactorFGC, same way it's spelled out on the screen. If you want to go there and hear me complain about Blanca's matchups, in my bio on Twitter, I have a link to my Discord for West Coast Rumble. It's an online tournament series in which I put in my own prize money. We have some big names who came through. Vagabond has come through before. We had Vicious, who's in the game, which was super sick to have him, even though we didn't get to see him play. Besides that, I've just been grinding. I've been hitting the lab. I've been going to locals. Finally not a scrub anymore, constantly placing inside the top 5. And other than that, always remember to support your locals.
Hey, good stuff.
Yes.
Good message at the end there. Definitely support your locals. And PokerJackGamble, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram, on Twitch, and on Discord with the same name. Streaming very sporadically. I'm not really sure when you'll see me on there, but yeah, just hit me up anywhere there if you want to talk gaming or anything nerd stuff. If you want to be part of a community of nerds, come and talk.
Yep. Gamers Consortium is definitely one of my favorite communities, along with Winter Lodge as well. So definitely check both of those out on Discord if you haven't already. As for me, like I said, you can find me. All my handles are down below, even though I need to kind of rework that banner. But I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm on Threads now too. So that's the thing. And
kid on the block.
Yep, I converted. And also, of course, right here on Twitch. I'm pretty much definitely on every Saturday for some Battle Hub rotations like we had last night. But because I'm kind of freelancing now as far as work, I'm able to be on more during the weekdays as well. I'm working on Monday through Wednesday, primarily playing Street Fighter 6 right now because that's the focus. But as different games come out or I just get tired of Street Fighter 6, we may mix some other things in there. But also the High Score Design store where we have this awesome busted shirt. And also I think I'm up to 13 different designs now and actually got a couple. I got like 2 more that are pretty much ready to go. I just have to upload them. But the main thing that's kind of slowed me down is a distribution channel because the website I have for it, quite frankly, is trash. So I want to find a better distribution system for the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, High Score Designs is still very much alive and well. And of course, building the High Score Haven podcast. Like this is the first episode I've done since me and Bates were on doing the MagFest breakdown over 6 months ago. So we definitely got to fix that. But as I mentioned as well, yeah, I got another idea for an episode that I'll probably do solo. And then, yeah, expect to see more like guests and interviews and roundtables and stuff like that in the future as well. So, like I said, thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you everybody for viewing. I do want to have this on YouTube. And it's kind of good too. I won't have to do as many edits. This went by really smooth. So I probably just got to like add the intro or whatever. Because that's another thing I'm working on. Another intro for the platform in general. But yeah, I want to have it live on YouTube no later than by the end of this week, but it'll likely be sooner than that. And thank you everybody for the bits, WinterSoul, Al Nimbus, and Base Motel 6. Thank you very much for that. And with that, let's see who we can raid right quick, man. And while I'm looking for anybody to raid, anybody want to say anything?
Yeah, I want the next episode to be like all in all caps. What if Zangief was in S tier?
That's the bad timeline.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Coffee Squad Hemrocks with the Prime Gaming sub for 12 months. Shout out to Coffee Squad Hemrocks in the chat.
I'm not against it.
And
I can't top that. I actually want to see that podcast.
I want to see like an unlockable Mecha Zangief.
Yeah, that'd be dope. So real quick before we go, Bates has redeemed the push-up max challenge. So I'm gonna do that just right quick here. So we're gonna do that live here on the podcast. Of course,
let's bring the hype on over through the raid.
Who we raid?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought you just mentioned you just.
Oh yeah, I thought someone you were.
But I was saying I need to do this push-up challenge right quick. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna maximize my camera for just a second.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so y'all can help me count them out.
Push up hard.
Let me actually.
You gotta play that Zangief theme in the background while you're doing that.
Oh God! You know what? That's
the one from 6 or the one from.
the weights, and he's doing the.
Oh yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just actually gonna move this because that's a great idea. Let me.
Yeah,
you got to do real Cossack dances.
Yeah, I ain't doing the Cossack dance. I can't. Nah, that's not.
Those are tough. Those are serious.
Yeah.
No, you got it. You got it. It's easy.
Can't do that with my knees anymore.
Not easy. I I tried to do it when the game was out. Let's see. Zangief.
There you go.
Street 60. Bow. Thank you, Alex, for the idea. Always making my content better.
Yeah, you got to do that.
All right, here we go. Let's hit it.
Getting that SPD body. The SPD.
Muscle power.
There you go.
Do it, baby.
Work it.
Get some. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And we go all the way down. Let's go.
Yeah, you got all the way down. We can't confirm. This angle leaves a lot of mystery.
Oh, he's actually playing this.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, now one-handed.
You just gotta say it because we can't see it.
You gotta do him like Rashid. You gotta do the push up and then the flip. And then you can rinse it with the easiest part.
We can assume he's just straining rockets.
Don't knock anything over.
There you go. I always feel bad when people are working out and I just ate a burger.
I feel the best. That's the best feeling.
Just had a burrito.
I was able to get 30, so my max right now is like
go.
38. So
Pure shade and frown.
yeah, it is
Let's
what it is.
go.
But that just means I gotta get back in the gym. That's all that means. All right, guys. So that's gonna pretty much end it. Let me go ahead and find somebody to raid, unless somebody here has a better idea.
I've got the Sweets event is doing a Street Fighter 6 tournament right now.
Oh, word? Cool. Let's hit it. The Sweets. Yeah, I think I do follow them. Shout out to Moni Too Sweet and Surgeon Storm and all those folks.
Some good people over there.
Oh Lord. Yeah, at this point, the podcast pretty much over. We're just kind of messing around.
So non-factor, you run tournaments and stuff, right?
Yeah, I run West Coast Rumble.
Have you ever ran a tournament where you just do all random select characters? That's like all you can do?
I want to, but getting enough people who are down for it is the tricky part.
Like, fuck these. I want to say like an all random tournament, or like people like switch his mains. Like,
Name swapping.
Yeah, that
That would be pretty dope.
So, WinterSoul, it's spelled The Sweets Events, right?
Yeah, the Sweets event. No S at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put the name in chat.
All right, go ahead and do that, and I'll just copy and paste it.
I always want to see a tournament like that, or like a tournament where everyone's blindfolded and just see what happens.
Oh no!
I want to see that.
All right, so guys, I'm going to roll the credits. We can still chat later, off stream or whatever, but I'm going to go ahead and roll the credits and raid the Sweets event.
All right.
Sounds good.
And,
Bringing the good vibes.
All right, and thanks again, and we'll see you on the Sweets event channel. Y'all be good.
Pleasure, folks.